today it's becoming increasingly important for companies to operate in an ethical and socially responsible manner. But what exactly makes a company ethical? This episode is brought to you by my book, Speak From Within. Learn how you can engage, inspire, and motivate any audience. You can also download my 4 simple tips to make starting any conversation a breeze at the link in the show notes. Hello and welcome to the Creative Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Izolda Trachtenberg. Whether you're writing the first sentence of a book or solving the climate crisis, to get people's attention, you need to tell your story creatively. On the show, I interview peak performers who are coming up with those creative stories and solutions. Through creativity, compassion, and collaboration, they're changing the world. I also bring you ideas and techniques to unlock your potential to do the same. And now, let's get to the show. Hi, and welcome to the Creative Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Izolda Trachtenberg. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Today, in today's Vegan Life Solutions episode, I want to take a sort of a break from talking about particular vegan companies and talk about ethics. In other words, what does it take to be an ethical company? Whether you're vegan or not, although I'm going to talk about a vegan sort of company set of ethics and what I believe they should be, in part because I am unveiling the Creative Solutions seal of ethical innovation. And we're going to be giving these seals of ethical innovation out to companies that are showing, not just talking about, but showing that they are ethical. But before we do that, I want to talk about what it means to be an ethical company. So these are some of the things I thought about and thought of when it comes to what ethics are, because today it's becoming increasingly important for companies to operate in an ethical and socially responsible manner. But what exactly makes a company ethical? That's what I was thinking about. And so I was thinking about what are the key characteristics. Here are some that I came up with. And if you come up with some, I would love to hear from you. And in fact, I'm just going to come out and say it. I would love your support also on my Patreon or my Buy Me a Coffee. It would be great to connect with you that way too, because you get extra bonuses, pre-release episodes, and all sorts of really cool, fun art. All right, so let's talk about the ethical characteristics of any company. 1, transparency, right? Ethical companies are transparent about their business practices, their financial information, and their decision-making process. It's like when I tell you that Brain FM is one of my affiliates, that I'll make some money if you decide to order it, right? That's transparency. I'm not going, oh my God, I love it, even though I do. I'm not just saying that. I'm letting you also know that if you decide to try it, that I might get a little bit of money back, right? That's transparency. So companies that are transparent disclose relevant information to their stakeholders, including customers, employees, shareholders, the public at large, and they're open to feedback and criticism. That's an important part of it, is that it's kind of a two-way street. A second characteristic of ethicality, if you will, is fairness. Ethical companies treat all the people fairly, all the stakeholders, right? They treat them fairly, they treat them with respect, regardless of their position or status. So the sort of newest person on the totem pole is just as important as the CEO. And in part, it's true in sort of the greater way of looking at it, because everybody makes the ship go. It's not one person just sort of going, one person might be steering the ship, but they may not be, how do I even say it? They can't possibly make the ship go all by themselves. Let's put it that way. And I don't know why I did a ship metaphor, but there you go. Anyway, ethical companies don't discriminate based on gender, race, ethnicity, religion, or any other factor, and they're committed to providing equal opportunities for all. So that's another sort of spoke in the wheel of ethicality. 3, they're responsible. Ethical companies take responsibilities for their actions and their impact on society and the environment, and I'm going to add, and animals, because you know me. They adhere to laws and regulations and go above and beyond to ensure that their business practices are ethical and they're sustainable. Next one is integrity. Ethical companies operate with integrity and honesty in all their dealings. That's that's one of the foundational planks of all this, right? Those companies don't engage in unethical or illegal activities like bribery or fraud or corruption, and they hold themselves and all their people accountable for their actions. 4, social and environmental responsibility. And I'm going to add again, and the animal world too, not just the environment. Ethical companies are going to be committed to making a positive impact on society and the environment, and they take steps to reduce their carbon footprint, they minimize waste, and they promote conservation and sustainability. They also support social causes and give back to the communities they serve, right? So that they are connected to the communities that they serve. And the last one I would say is ethical leadership. And ethical companies are going to be led by leaders who sort of set that tone for the values of the whole kit and caboodle, the whole organization. These leaders prioritize ethics, they prioritize social responsibility, and they lead by example, creating a culture of integrity and responsibility sort of throughout the company. So those are the sort of the spokes of the wheel of an ethical company, without placing too much of an emphasis on being vegan, right? Or being ethically responsible in that way. So I want to now sort of color that a little bit and go, okay, what are some of these characteristics going to look like if we're also going to bring in animal welfare and animal rights even into the conversation on ethics? So here are some of the reasons why veganism can and should be considered a sort of a foundational element of being ethical, of ethicality. 1, animal welfare. Yeah, veganism is based on the belief that animals should not be exploited or harmed for human use or consumption. So an ethical company that adopts veganism as part of its values and practices is going to be taking a stand against animal cruelty and promoting animal welfare. Very important. 2, I would say environmental sustainability, because animal agriculture is one of the leading causes, if not the leading cause, of deforestation. It's also a cause of water pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. And so adopting a vegan perspective and having that be as a foundational plank to their statement of ethics, companies can reduce their environmental impact and they can promote sustainability and, most importantly, care for the animal world. Okay. 3, health and wellness, right? Veganism is going to promote a healthier and more sustainable diet, which can lead to improved health outcomes for employees, customers, and whatever stakeholders there are. The next one is social responsibility. Veganism aligns itself really well with social responsibility values because it addresses issues such as worker exploitation, food insecurity, human rights violations in the animal agriculture industry. So that kind of social responsibility would be, again, viewed through the lens of veganism. You're going to have a slightly different perspective on ethics, but it's one that's, I think, even more crucial and more vital. And the next one is innovation and creativity. So adopting veganism as part of a company's values and practices, it can also promote innovation and creativity because it requires finding new and different and innovative ways to create and market products that are free from animal products. How amazing is that, right? That's an interesting way of looking at it. It's like, oh yeah, you're going to have to think differently, but you know me, and I talk about have to versus get to. You're going to get to think differently. You're going to get to think more creatively. And isn't that a beautiful and wonderful thing? So by adopting veganism as part of their values and practices, ethical companies can demonstrate their commitment to animal welfare, environmental sustainability, health and wellness, social responsibility, and innovation. And they can also attract customers and consumers who share those values and differentiate themselves in the market by offering products that align with all of those ethical principles. And that is a way of sort of being self-contained when it comes to being ethical, because then you're hitting all of the spokes of that wheel. And as I said earlier in the episode, what I've been talking about is this Creative Solutions seal of ethical innovation. And we're going to be honoring companies that are exhibiting, that are sort of fomenting and living those principles that I've just been outlining and talking about. And we're going to be doing that very soon. We're partnering with the first company, and we're going to be doing a giveaway, hopefully in time for Mother's Day. I'm super excited about that. And you'll learn more about it as we go along. We're still finalizing the details on exactly how we're going to do that. But this company is relatively new, and they're kind of on the small side, but they're delicious. They're out of Colorado. If you know who I'm talking about, drop me a line and maybe we'll do a little giveaway for you too. And I'm very excited to partner with them, and they're going to be on the show in the next few months. So that's another really super cool thing. So I'm super, 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 super excited about the seal of ethical innovation. The Creative Solutions Seal of Ethical Innovations is going to be, let me say that again, because I flubbed it. The Creative Seal. No. Oh my goodness. My brain. The Creative Solutions Seal of Ethical Innovations is going, I don't know why I can't say it. The Creative Solutions Seal of Ethical Innovation is going to highlight companies that are living by those principles of sustainability, of social impact, of social responsibility, and of veganism, because that really encompasses all of them, because it means that somebody who's dedicated to veganism is dedicated to environmental sustainability, is dedicated to social responsibility, and most importantly of all, dedicated to animal welfare. And so when you get that seal, you will know that I believe that you are one of those companies. And if you want to throw your hat into the ring for the Creative Solutions Seal of Ethical Innovation, drop me a line. I would love to hear from you. This episode, as always, has been brought to you by a couple of different places, if you will. Yes, Brain FM, like I mentioned earlier, I use it every night to fall asleep. I use it to meditate. I use it to do my creative work. I use it to write. I used it this year to do taxes, and taxes were just a bunch easier. If you want to try it, there's a link in the show notes, and you get 20% off, which is really cool. You get 20% off if you buy it through my affiliate link, which is right there, and it would be great to see how you feel about it. Try it for a month and let me know. I'd love to know what you end up thinking about it. It also is brought to you by the podcast host that I use and love, Podbean. You can do so much. Podbean, one of the things that I think sets Podbean apart from other host providers, podcast host providers, is that you can get amazing statistics about who's listening to your show. So if you want to grow your show and want to know the demographics and the psychographics of the people who are listening, that's a really good way to do it. Buzzsprout does something similar, but I think Podbean is superior. Or at least I have not yet seen anybody. I did a fair amount of research before I decided to go with Podbean, and I have not seen anybody else doing what they're doing with respect to the statistics you get and the help you get from them should you need it. And so I love it. And also it's brought to you by Canva, because I use Canva all the time and every day. And last but not least, it's brought to you by my book, Speak From Within, How to Engage, Inspire, and Motivate Any Audience. So if you're interested in learning more about how to speak in public, how to have conversations, if you're on my TikTok, I'm at Izolda T on TikTok, you know that one of the things that I'm doing a lot right now is talking about conversation starters, and I'm giving tons of communication tips, like how I'm able to sit here for 12 minutes and some odd and chat with you without much of a break, except for that little bit of a flub on Creative Solutions Seal of Ethical Innovation. Yay, there, I said it. Anyway, if you follow me on TikTok, you know that I'm talking about that a lot. And in part, the principles that I laid out in Speak From Within are those very same principles that I put to use every single day to speak to you, to speak to hundreds, sometimes thousands of people when I'm doing my professional speaking engagements, and to also have conversations with my husband about the fact that he needs to change the kitty litter, even though what he wants to do is go out and juggle with his buddies. So, and that is actually a conversation that we've had. So I am not speaking out of turn. All right, cool. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, I remind you to be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new, and it would mean the world to me if you told a friend about it. Today's episode was produced by Izolda Trachtenberg and is copyright 2023. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope. Until next time, keep living what you believe in.